Well, welcome back into the mid-Norfolk farm garden. Middle of March now. Incredible how quickly things have come on. These Christmas roses have been flowering here. This is the very first one, and it's done incredibly well this year. The cold weather that we were forecast to get the last couple of weeks really never materialised here. We had a flurry of snow for about 10 minutes and that was it. Didn't really settle. And as a consequence, the crocus that we have coming up in this garden this year has been the best it's ever been. Also the bank at the back of it butts onto the lane. You can hear the traffic going down the lane at the moment. Daffodils there are doing really nicely this year. Just let me show you the long vista views that we get now we've planted that right up. Well, this is the long view you get now looking down the whole bank, and it's what we were hoping to achieve over the last 4 or 5 years that we've been planting this sequentially with pots of daffodils. We've got the volume of snowdrops, I showed you that earlier in the year, really quite good now, and they should thicken up over the next few years as well. But the combination of that, now followed on by these early daffs, is really a good succession planting and gives a lovely splash of colour along here. We've got quite a few different varieties. Let's show you a few of them. Well, the mainstay that we've fallen back on here is the tete-a-tetes or February gold, tiny little narcissi daffs that are so reliable and so easy to split and transfer out. And we've got several thousand of them planted along this bank, all of which were bought in flower or bud at least at the local flower auction and split. But there are other varieties that we've planted in here to give us a succession of flower. Now, this is one of Kate's favourites, the orange scented daffodil or narcissi. I'm not sure what the name of this one is. I think from memory it may be Sunset, but it's taller than the tete-a-tete by about 4 or 5 inches and really stands out with this dark orange that gets a lovely, it's just a core of central warmth really. Pose that to this is the little natural species one with almost white outer sepals and then the golden yellow trumpet. Again, about an inch or so shorter than the orange scented one, but the combination of the two planted in blocks makes both of them pop, which is a really good little trick. And just look, if I pan back with the planting of tete-a-tetes against the base of the red brick wall, purple crocus in the middle, and then these orange narcissi in the forefront, really gives you a fantastic good spring display. Let's go further into the long border on the back of the orchard and show you the same effect there that we've created over the last couple of years. Just before we do that, I was talking about succession planting. Scented narcissi, I think this one's either Winston Churchill or Wedding Day, is it? Can't absolutely remember because these were planted out 3 or 4 years ago, but just look at that, still in bud. Tete-a-tetes in full flower just to the side with the almost spent snowdrops and a little smattering of crocus we've got in here. But there's a whole variety of different narcissi planted in here which should extend our flowering period right the way into April. Well, this is that long view effect that I was talking about. Looking straight into this border, it's not too spectacular, but from this angle where you're looking down the long run, then the volume of flowers just builds up and gives you this real pop at this time of year. Across the path into the orchard, the daffodils really are only just starting in here. Crocus have been lovely this year under the base of this old apple tree. We've also got to follow on some anemones that we've gradually planted out into this area over the last few years, and also a sprinkling of what I'm hoping to increase with the wild primrose that really again just lifts and extends the flowering period in this natural planting. But there is an awful lot of flower still to come on. It always surprises me, this planting of daffs, just how late it is, and it won't be until middle of April going right through into May that we really get the bulk of colour here. I'll show you this again in a couple of weeks and you'll be absolutely astonished about just how much flower has come on from what just looks like a quite thin planting within the grass. These are the little natural primroses that we're encouraging into this area. A lot of small baby ones. These seed really well in this environment. We're lucky enough to have these growing naturally in the banks all around us. The snowflakes we've extended quite a lot. We've shown you, I think, earlier this season us digging clumps of these up, established clumps, and dividing them, which they really benefit from. They're very nice, easy bulbs to move around and give you this lovely tall backdrop of snowdrop-like flowers, but held at 12 to 14 inches really. A nice plant, architecturally very good. It's one of the first ones to start emerging in early spring. Again, I think we showed you those on earlier videos. But just look at this area. This is all going to be a mass of daffs, some of which are only just emerging through the surface of the grass here, and these are all going to come on and flower later in the season. A really good planting of mixed varieties here, some scattering of early ones that don't distract too much from the crocus that we've enjoyed over the last couple of weeks. Then we'll have the primrose, the cowslips, and following on, hopefully a really good display again of daffodils. It's this long border that we were coming over this way to show you, and this has been the real success story of the last couple of years. All planted afresh. The only daffs that were in here were these taller, later varieties on the back, which we've again increased by using pots planted out usually at this time of year, because you can see what's there already. The herbaceous is just starting to emerge and you're not digging into crowns of herbaceous plants. And also you can just place little pots of these tete-a-tetes in gaps that you find to increase the numbers. But I think we've just about got the volume right now. A nice thick, metre thick planting of tete-a-tetes going all the way up the front. And what a lovely bit of blackthorn we've got in the back there. That's really a beautiful flowering tree. Still got the pear and apple blossom as well to look forward to in this border. So a nice start to the gardening year and a real feel of spring about ready to burst forth. Thanks for watching.